Hello, all you people out there who are from locations that give you access to watch our videos. How are you doing today? I'm so glad you could join us. Really appreciate it. I truly do. Don't you?
Yeah.
Welcome to All Directions. Donna One. That's Alcove the voice
And this is our podcast.
that we do on a weekly basis,
Usually.
most of the time,
Sometimes.
on regular scheduled programming.
It's regular schedule.
Yes, every Friday, 12 o'clock, without fail.
UK. Or
Yeah.
GMT, rather.
Sure. I mean, if that's how you want to do it, you want to complicate things.
Well, no, because they can just look GMT. I don't
Well-
know American time.
Yeah, but like, if you are from America, by the way, and you come to our channel on Fridays at 12 o'clock p.m.
Well, it will
actually,
be up for them
yeah,
anyway.
It would be p.m. and it will be up for you anyway.
Although
So
if they want to catch
it's
it when
guaranteed.
if they want to catch it when it's uploaded, it's around about
Oh well, they're 8 hours
Oh,
behind.
no, they're around about 5 hours behind.
It depends on part of America.
If we're talking about the West Coast, then it's about 5 hours behind.
If, my region of America is 8 hours behind.
Right.
So,
Your region.
My region of America.
Or in America now.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, my region of America.
Right, okay.
You know, the sector of America.
Sorry, hold on,
that
I got
I
that
own.
wrong. I believe the West Coast is 4 hours behind. Because Canada, at least where my friend lives, is 5 hours behind.
Well,
Yeah.
either way, it will be available for you nonetheless.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can try and stall everyone while
Mhm.
you try and figure out the both times in which the content would
Well,
be
I believe,
newly available.
I think if you're talking about the East Coast, then your 8 hour thing is correct.
Yeah.
Central America is around about 6-ish hours, I
Mhm.
believe. And my friends are usually 5 hours behind. Something
Right.
about that.
Well, you do the maths.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that stuff.
Google's made for this.
That is the whole reason Google was made in the first place. You know, some guy was sat at home.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Fuck, how behind is America from me because I'm British?" And then he was like, "I know, I'll make Google." And then
Right.
Google was made, and everyone knew what time zones.
No, and then
everyone was in.
Google Earth was made, and then
Mhm.
Google came from Google Earth because people were like, "Where can I get something that's like this?"
Well, because they only had Google Earth,
Yeah.
but since Google was on Earth to begin
Mhm.
with, by having Google Earth, you would
Yeah.
have then had to make Google,
Mhm.
and that's why Google is
Mhm.
now a thing. It's
Now-
all Google Earth's fault.
And now Google Earth is went from Google Earth to Google Moon to Google Mars.
Well, that's really Google Earth isn't really a thing anymore. It's just Google Maps now.
No, Google Earth is a thing. It's a separate app now that you have to
Well, yeah,
download.
but if you go on Google Maps and you just zoom all the way out,
Mm.
you'll see the Earth.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can access the moon and
Yeah.
Mars and all that
Mm.
stuff, and the other planets,
Mhm.
which are really shit compared to Google's detailed
Mm.
perspective of Earth.
Yeah.
You know, it's very pixelated if you zoom in too far in any of the other planets.
Mm.
Or
Although I don't
moons.
think you could really take pictures of Mercury's surface because it's really hot there.
Doesn't mean you can't give it a shot.
Well, I mean, you could get like pictures of the sky and stuff. If we have a satellite that circled around it,
Yeah,
we could get the same.
There's
kind
no
of vibe.
reason why you couldn't just attempt it.
It has been
Yeah.
attempted. We have.
Yeah.
We've actually landed craft on Mercury.
No, but I mean on literally even like just basically anywhere. You might as well give everything a shot. Send someone down into the center of the sun.
You will die.
Yeah,
You will.
but it's worth the
horribly
risk,
die.
isn't it?
You won't even get to the center.
Just
of the
in
sun.
case you
Uh-huh.
somehow manage it. Very unlikely,
Oh,
but
yeah.
just in case you manage it, it's worth the shot.
But why would you want to go to the center of the sun?
Just to have a look,
Just to have a look.
a bit of
You will
sightseeing.
you will be blinded by light.
Well, yeah, but you just turn like all the exposure down on your camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assuming you had an indestructible camera, that is.
Well, obviously, you're
Yeah.
not gonna go just sending up some cheap
Mhm.
20-pound camcorder up into space with the intention to send into the center of the sun.
Well, not with the intention of send some, but I believe that people have sent up like weather balloons with pretty cheap cameras on.
Yeah, but I doubt like NASA's just gonna go to like PC World, pick up a 20-pound camcorder, and send that up.
All depends on what detail they're looking for,
You know what
really.
I mean? Yeah,
I mean, if
I
they
can't
just want a
picture them.
general
I
look,
just
I think.
it doesn't matter what it's for. Even if it was just to take a picture of their office space,
Yeah.
I can't see NASA spending 20 quid on a camcorder.
True.
I feel like they just feel a need to spend a lot more.
Actually, speaking of NASA, I believe NASA's actually going to be making a comeback, as far as I know.
After they went into hiding.
No. I mean, as in doing space travels and stuff.
All right.
And I think that's due to the influence of Elon Musk.
Mm.
I think. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the case.
Oh, very well might be. Christopher, speaking of
Elon
space and all that kind of stuff, right? On our podcast, we tend to often talk about stuff like video games, just general entertainment forms of media, film often, right? And there's a film that we are very fond of that is actually one of our topics for today. So I would like to assume everybody watching today has seen The Iron Giant.
Millennials won't.
There's a slim chance.
Slim chance.
I mean, to be fair, it was re-released in cinemas about a year or so back.
Wasn't that just for like a day, though?
It was either just for one day or for a weekend.
Yeah.
But for a couple of days. I don't know how well it did, but I don't think they were expecting it to make like a shitload or anything.
I believe it did better than the original release of The Iron Giant.
Oh, the original release of The Iron Giant didn't actually do that well in the first place.
It became a cult classic.
Which is why it's more considered a cult classic than just a classic. Although, in terms of its popularity level now, it's far more popular than what a cult classic would be considered. But since it wasn't popular at the time, it would technically be considered a cult classic.
Yeah.
But you got we talked about this briefly a couple of days ago. But you've got like Disney and everything who are going back and looking through all of their like old animated films and everything. They're doing re-releases for them, and most specifically, they're doing live action remakes of all these films. They started off with, what was it, Maleficent or something?
Maleficent, yeah.
Which wasn't received all that well by many people. I didn't hate it.
No.
But that's because I had no interest in the original property. And I thought it was an interesting spin. But I think, similar to what I said to you earlier with Beauty and the Beast, I think anyone that had some kind of attachment to the original property wouldn't have gotten a lot of joy from it.
I did not very often. It was when I was a young tot, but... And I didn't say thought. It was when I was a young kid, and I did often watch Beauty and the Beast, and it was mainly for not Beauty and the Beast.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. And that was mainly because of Maleficent turning into a dragon. The particular scene that I liked, it was when all the three god fairies, right?
I know what you're referring to. It's like the three godmothers.
Yeah. They made everybody go to sleep, and that entire scene I really liked. And when I was little, and I would basically watch a movie for those two particular things. Yeah. I did have a fondness for it. It's just. I can still deal with Maleficent.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think the main reason I liked it is just, once again, similar to the original Beauty and the Beast, I didn't have much care for the original property. It wasn't something I went back to and watched over and over again. And so I had like really no problems with the changes that they made to the character. I thought it was an interesting spin on the character. And considering it's once again one of those things, I was going in that movie expecting to walk out hating it. Because I didn't want to go see the film. I was more so dragged to go and see it. And I actually ended up enjoying the film a lot more than I expected to. I've never went back and watched it a second time or anything, but I do have like relatively fond memories of the film. So
I think the only thing I don't like about Maleficent is it at the end it paints her as a good character, which is really untrue of what the character actually is in the terms of Sleeping Beauty.
I just think that's why I think it's interesting though, just because of the fact that good and evil can be just perspective based. So if you're purely looking at it from the three fairy godmothers' point of view, and just from Sleeping Beauty's point of view, then Maleficent can come across as this very evil bitch, basically. Whereas if you're actually seeing it from her point of view, you're sort of maybe getting a slightly justified reason for why she's doing what she's doing.
When I was saying that the painter is a good character, I meant at the end she literally has a total change of character. She's no longer an evil character.
But you don't know. You don't know how that could spin out if they were to like do a sequel film or something. She could. I mean, she's more tempered now, so more ill-tempered now. So I don't think
she calmed down because she made I believe she made a truce with I don't remember Sleeping Beauty's princess name.
Just call her Sleeping Beauty.
The Sleeping Beauty girl. She made a truce with herself and the magical creatures.
Yeah, I still don't think they'd keep it that way. I think, honestly, because I think they fully intended to make a sequel to that film. So I think she was going to continue to be the Maleficent character that we know from the animated movie.
Yeah.
I just think that was the first film sort of setting up, justifying who she kind of was. And then giving you a different spin on the movie. I think the only reason we are not probably ever going to get a sequel to it is because it wasn't received very well.
Was it?
No, most people didn't like it. No, most people didn't like it, apparently.
Wow.
So, like I said, surprised me because I thought it was actually an interesting spin.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so, you got Disney doing all of these live-action remakes. And, with the whole, like, Shabbat what got going on, we talked a few podcasts ago about, like, Transformers and all that kind of stuff. And even though they're not being received all that well, you've still got what's the film called Del Toro's doing?
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim, you still got that, which, I mean, yes, I think the first one got, like, a very mixed response.
Oh, people enjoyed the first one.
Well, there's people that love the first one, but then there's people that hate the first one as well. So it's like, that's what I mean by mixed. So it's kind of one of those love or hate films. I know loads of people that fucking love that film.
Mostly Godzilla fans, I reckon.
No, I don't know. I said one of my friends that used to be my flatmate back when I was at university, he just loved Pacific Rim, an insane amount. But yeah, so the whole giant robot thing is still relatively quite a big thing in cinemas. Maybe not as big as it was like 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago it might be. But it's still a big thing in cinemas that a lot of people go see, despite how much we shit on Transformers, and it might not be making as much money as it was, it still makes a lot of money. So I think we both agree on the fact that Warner Brothers should probably look into doing the same thing that Disney's doing in terms of looking back at their old animated classics and making a live action.
Yeah.
And what better film to do that with than with The Iron Giant?
Ready Player One doesn't count.
Ready Player One, I personally think, is a good start.
Yeah.
I think if that film kicks off big, and I don't know if Pacific Rim 2's out.
No,
already.
it's on its way.
It's on its way, right? And if that film does really well, Disney's remakes of the original animated continue to do really well. I think very soon we could be looking at Warner Brothers actually considering doing a live-action rendition of The Iron Giant, which I think is just a perfect film to remake into live-action format. It's made for it. It's very cinematic in scope, especially with the way that they created the original giant in the actual film, because he's already actually CGI.
He is.
In that movie. He's the only actual 3D character in the film, which is insane.
I believe it was the first 3D character to be in a 2D animated thing.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you might have told me that before.
Yeah.
I'm just not 100% sure if I heard it from you or if I heard it from someone else, but I think I have heard that before. It's starting to ring a bell. But yeah, so we had a quick little discussion yesterday about whether we thought was a good idea.
Yesterday
or not.
and today.
Yesterday, today, probably several months ago, we talked about it. So it only seems like a worthy topic to actually get ourselves into.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with us kind of pitching why we think it's a good idea in the first place? Or do you want to jump in straight into an abbreviated version of our 8-hour discussion?
I think just for the benefit of people who haven't seen the Iron Giant, because there will be people who haven't seen the Iron Giant. For all those people who have, I will hold my cup up to you and say, well done. You picked well at whatever age you saw the Iron Giant. Yeah, so for those who haven't seen the Iron Giant, I think we give them a basic premise of what the Iron Giant actually is,
Okay.
and follow that up with what our picture, who and what our pitch is actually about.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with
If that makes sense.
It does. It relatively makes sense. I think we've picked up what you're putting down.
Yeah.
So, for those of you who don't know what the Iron Giant is, he's a big robot.
Yeah.
The end.
He is just a big robot.
He's just a big, like, chunk of metal.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he's actually made out of iron.
Probably not.
I think he's a bit more sturdy than iron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, the basic premise of the film is you basically got this kid, and this kid really wants a pet.
Do you remember his name?
Very badly.
Do you remember his name?
Yeah, but I'm building up to it.
Okay.
Right. So the kid, he wants a pet so badly. So badly, in fact, that even in his mother's restaurant that she works at, he brings in is it a weasel or a ferret?
Squirrel.
Oh yes, it's a squirrel. That's the one. It's been I think it's been over 3 years or something since I last watched the film. So my memory of the specific details are a little vague. Basically, so yeah, he brings this squirrel into the restaurant. It starts causing havoc. It destroys everything. The restaurant blows up. There's fire and ash everywhere.
I don't remember that part.
Is that
deleted scenes?
Scene,
Okay.
And basically, the kid goes out exploring one day. I think it's because he loses signal on his television, actually.
Yeah.
And basically...
And his mum's not there either. She's at work.
His mum's not there. He's basically snacking. It's midnight and everything. He doesn't enjoy school very much, but typical kid stuff, we've all experienced. So he basically goes out checking the power lines and everything. And what does he discover? Eating the power lines.
Well, he doesn't discover it straight away.
Well, not straight away. And by the way, it's not the squirrel.
No. Oh, that would have been a pretty good twist.
That would have been a really interesting twist. Yeah.
No, it's revealed that there's a giant mechanoid. I don't know if you would call the Iron Giant a mech.
He's just a robot. No, he's a robot.
All right, because you can't pilot him. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get to see the Iron Giant who decides to have a midnight snack on a power line. Or is it a power station? Would you call it?
Actually, well, he is technically in a power station.
Yeah.
But obviously, he has lots of power lines.
Would it not be a power plant? Don't think it's quite planty enough for a power plant.
I don't know. I don't think you call it a power plant.
No.
Well, I think we'll stick to station. For the best interest of conversation. Yeah. So basically, discovers the robot. He has a bit of he just continues to watch the robot, and the robot ends up getting himself into a bit of a tangle.
Yeah. Literally. Although how we couldn't get out of it, I have no idea. I mean, the electricity might be...
There was a lot of wires, and the fright of getting electrocuted and everything. He's in alien territory. He's not quite familiar with everything, so he basically shocks himself to sleep. I have to say, the scene where Hogarth basically walks up on... Hogarth's his name, by the way, the kid.
Yeah. Hogarth Hughes.
Yes, but for this conversation, we'll just stick to first name basis. We're close with Hogarth, so we can do that. But anyway, the scene where he's basically walking on top of the Iron Giant and actually exploring it, and the Iron Giant's eyes first open up. I think it's just the effects that they had for the glowing eyes and everything. That scene is just fun. They knew how to do the camera angles and everything perfect for that giant. So basically, at first he's a bit terrified of the robot, runs away, but the basic idea is he does eventually become friends with the robot. I'm not going to run through the entire 2 hours of the movie with you. Becomes friends with the robot, teaches him about basically life and how to be a good person. The difference between just generally dying and actually killing somebody.
What you can eat, what you can't eat.
Yes, he learns that. And then basically... the Iron Giant falls in love with the idea of being a superhero, more specifically Superman.
True.
Spawn my colors. And Yeah, that's kind of the basic idea. And if
Yeah.
you haven't seen the film, I don't really want to tell you much more
No,
about
no,
it
no.
because then you're just getting into spoiler territory
Mhm.
at that point.
Mhm.
But if you haven't seen the film, it's definitely worth checking out.
It is.
It
It is.
is a fantastic movie.
It's made in the 80s and still holds up today.
It holds up fantastically
Oh, yeah.
today. So
I think they've even got a Blu-ray release of
it
Iron Giant.
wouldn't surprise us. Did they not release that round about the time when they re-released it for cinemas?
I believe so, yeah, because
As
I
that
think
would make
it was like
sense.
a celebration-y kind of deal.
Mm.
The anniversary, yeah.
It was an anniversary of the Iron Giant, which is why they did it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, onto our basic pitch, I guess, then
Yep.
for a live action version
Mhm.
of the Iron Giant. I think personally for me, I don't want to see a frame for frame
Mhm.
identical film because
Mhm.
at that point I want to see a lot of the same beats
Mhm.
in the movie. In terms of them like discovering the robot, the friendship that he builds with the robot, and then
Mhm.
ultimately what happens closer towards the middle, towards the end of the film. So the same beats, but it doesn't necessarily have to play out the exact same way. As fun as it would be to see, I don't need to see a section where Hogarth takes the giant to a big lake
Yeah.
and decides to cannonball into the lake, and then the giant follows and does the same
Mm.
thing, thus flooding
Mm.
the forest for a little bit.
And totally not destroying any of the forest because those trees are pretty good at staying still.
Well, yeah, I mean, they absorbed all the water. You had a lot of dirt around, so the grass was fed, the trees were fed. They got a nice little drink that they've been dying for, literally. So we don't need to see any of that.
Yeah.
Although, probably don't need to see the coffee scene
Yeah.
where Hogarth's getting very jittery on the coffee.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I wouldn't dislike
Considering
it.
who
It would be
we've got.
I mean, you could have a very easy and just nod to that scene just
Yeah.
by having a scene where he actually picks up a cup of coffee when he's with Dean or something. But it doesn't need to, like, once again, be the frame for frame
No.
exact scene. So, I mean, what would you prefer to see frame for frame identical, or would you want some, like, different elements, add something to the story?
I think there's two particular parts.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, three particular parts that I would like frame by frame, which would be the reveal of the giant. From like the scene of the giant coming to the power plant to him being knocked out. The next one would be hold on. It'll come to me. What was it? That scene, definitely. Maybe the scene of him getting hit by a train. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, wait, sorry, no. The scene of when Hogarth gets the giant, pick him up and they start walking.
I would like to see the one where he's pretending to be the billboard, the signpost, and he's holding the burger.
Yes. Yeah. And the final scene, which is later on in the movie, so I do apologize for slight spoilerage. The scene exactly from
the give you shivers scene.
Yeah, kind of. No, not that scene. No. The scene where Hogarth and the giant fall off the cliff.
Oh yes, that's got to be
in
that film.
To when they go past. I don't think they got as high as the clouds, but the giant can fly.
That's a major spoiler, dude.
The giant can fly.
That's basically the twist of the movie.
But yeah, those scenes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think. Going back to the give you shivers scene that I've just mentioned. I think that is one of the specific scenes where you probably wouldn't need to follow that.
No.
Shot for shot, no. Exactly. Add something new to that one.
I don't think you would want to do a shot for shot because if you're going to put all that effort into the CG model, in the movie, it's not really showcased enough of like the giant's abilities and stuff like that.
I think as long as when what happens to the giant happens, as long as they don't make it like super over complex, like what they do in Michael Bay's films, just in the way of all the moving parts and everything.
Keep it
keep it a
basically
nice,
the same as the
simple
movie.
thing. So keep it basically a similar, if not identical, design to the film, but you don't need to have everything happen like frame for frame. As long as the tone and everything's relatively the same, or fits the film nonetheless, and the conclusion to that moment relatively plays out similarly to how it does in the animated film.
I think the only thing I would like to see as complicated, if not a little bit more complicated, considering the giant is alien technology, is how he puts himself back together.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
I would like to explore a little bit more complexity into that, even though it's slightly complex in the movie itself, but I would just like that little bit more.
Would you want, the actual end shot of the film where it's like panning through the snow and everything? Would you want that shot to be the same at the end of the film?
No,
or would you
like
it to be different?
I would either want it to be different or expanded upon.
Right.
Not by much. I don't want to destroy the original ending shot, but every time I see that movie or see the movie, and that shot plays out, I'm just like, I know it's supposed to potentially be leading to a sequel, maybe, sort of, kind of, but it just doesn't give me that. Yeah, okay, I can stop now. I can just put down the movie for a while.
See, I love that ending, and I think it's the perfect way to end that film. But I don't know that I'd want that ending, at least not identical in the live action film, because I think we already kind of have a live action version of that exact shot. Because I think the Iron Man film nods to it in the scene where where Stark builds his very first armor and he actually flies off into the sky. The scene where it basically pans through the sand and you can see all of like pieces in the sand. I think it's a nod to the Iron Giant movie.
Okay.
So we've kind of already had that shot in live action, so we don't need an identical one. But if we could have something similarly interesting that doesn't mean you have to change the whole ending of the film, then I think that would be the more interesting thing to go.
Oh yeah.
So we had a bit of a discussion, and we had probably a much longer discussion than we should have about this.
No, we love the movie too much.
We do love the movie, but I mean, in terms of like the research and everything that I had to do to talk about this next bit, because I mean, we've been talking about in terms of actually like casting for the film, like what actors and who directed it, and so who would direct it. I mean, we've been talking about that for years, like trying to figure out a cast. It actually started with us. I think at the time we were trying to figure out, if they ever made like a real version of the Iron Giant, who would you cast? And we must have been like, 10 years old at this point in time?
No, we would have been older.
I don't think we would have been much older.
It's not a relatively new conversation topic, but it's, I reckon it's only like 5 years old, something like that.
I don't know. We've definitely been talking about this longer than that, because in the original version of us trying to cast, we actually tried to cast the people from Friends into
yeah.
So that was obviously had to be back when Friends was still actually pretty partially much relevant, which Hogarth did pretty much fit apart from the Hogarth character. And I don't know if we'd cast any of them specifically to be the Giant. I assume we just thought the Giant was sorted and we didn't have to think about that.
Vin Diesel is the only Giant anyone will ever need.
Yes, I concur with that.
Unless someone can do a really good Vin Diesel Iron Giant.
But even then, it would still just be doing Vin Diesel. So Vin Diesel is pretty much the only Iron Giant you can ever have. But yeah, we didn't even realize at the time when we were doing the Friends casting that Jennifer Aniston was already the person that voiced the mother. But yet we picked her as the person from Friends to voice to be that character in the live action version.
You did a good job, Jennifer.
You did a very good job.
Very good.
We cast. I'm not very good at remembering actors' names, especially not these days anymore.
We can tell the character names.
We basically cast Joey as Dean from the film. I'm blanking on his name as well now.
Chandler?
Nope, the other one. Ross. That's
Ross,
it. How do you feel about Ross?
The forgettable one.
The forgettable one.
Sorry, Ross.
Basically cast him as Kent, the agent, the government agent dude. Don't think we'll cast a general like I said, unless we did cast Chandler as
Mhm.
the general, I don't
Mhm.
think we cast a general for
I
that.
think we cast Chandler as the general just because Chandler.
Just because
Just,
Chandler.
just because he's in Friends.
Plus, he
really.
was the only person we had left.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what we cast the other two as, or if we even did.
Other two.
Monica and Phoebe.
I don't think we considered Monica or Phoebe.
I don't think we did.
No.
Not that we had much option with it either. I mean, one of them could play Hogarth's teacher at school.
Yeah.
That's about as far as you're going to get with any of
Yeah.
that.
I suppose like Monica could be like Hogarth's mother's friend at work.
Yeah,
But,
could be.
I wouldn't know where to put Phoebe then.
Well, I'll just make her the teacher.
Yeah, she could pull off a good teacher. Yeah.
A good teacher.
A teacher.
A good teacher. But we actually have legit casting options now.
Yes.
So, where would you like to start?
Director, of course.
With the director.
Yes. You're more familiar with him anyway than I am, as far as I know.
Yes, and I'm actually going to have to quickly pull up his name here because, like I said, the names are slipping my mind at this moment in time. So, hopefully, I actually do have his name.
You should.
Which I should, but I don't think that I do. For everyone that we did research of, I didn't seem to keep the director. Why would you do that, Daniel? There we go. There he is. Yeah. J.A.Bayona. J.A.Bayona. Bayoning. I think it's just Bayona.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the director that did The Impossible, which is a fantastic film, and A Monster Calls, which are basically two films if you have not seen, I highly recommend that you go and see those films. But more specifically because of A Monster Calls, which, although it's not a live action version of The Iron Giant whatsoever. It is a completely different film. It's a much more serious film, and
although from what I've seen, it wouldn't surprise me if he tried to do Iron Giant and couldn't do it.
Well, it's the funny thing because, like I said, A Monster Calls is like a much more serious and harder to watch film than The Iron Giant ever is, because The Iron Giant's an escapism type film. Yeah. It's a fun movie. But even just in terms of how the film was marketed, the way that the child's portrayed and the way that he has the relationship with the monster, it's very Iron Giant-esque. Yeah. And so I think right now this guy is he's an indie director. He's done, at least as far as I'm aware, he's done 2 indie films. He might have done more, but I'm not entirely sure. But either way, he's got 2 indie films behind him.
Apparently Jurassic World. Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, well, he's been given in that case, he's actually been given a blockbuster. But either way, I was going to say, the guy deserves a blockbuster film. Yeah. And what could be better than something like The Iron Giant? Because he's, at least, even if he's not familiar with the property, he knows how to get that feel and that tone and have that relationship between the child and essentially a CGI creature. So I think we both come to an agreement that this guy would be the perfect guy to direct this movie. Now, the next one I think we'll go to.
It was.
Yes, this being the next guy that I think we talk about.
I thought we were going to go director, then actors.
No, I think we jump with this one because this is a one especially more so than any that would be specifically the director's choice. So I think what we've went with here is what's basically our favorite composer from basically any film.
And many other people's.
Many people love him. I think you've got to acknowledge he's probably the second biggest in terms of musical composition.
I think he's getting even bigger these days as well.
You're never going to get, well, the only way you can get bigger than second is by being first, and you're never going to top John Williams.
I don't know.
It's just the way it is, you know. Like the films that John Williams has done the scores for are just like surpass basically everything. They're so well known and everything, and everyone knows at least several John Williams scores that they can hum in their head whenever they feel like. But our personal favorite composer is Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Now, so I mean, if we had the decision,
Mhm.
if we were Warner Brothers and it was
Yeah.
up to us,
Mhm.
that this film's getting made, we've got our director, we're picking all this stuff,
Yeah.
and we're basically pitching that we would like Hans Zimmer to
Yes.
score this film,
Absolutely.
unless the director basically says otherwise, because it needs to be someone that can work very well with the director.
I wouldn't like to say Hans Zimmer is an easy man to work with because I can't talk about him personally, but I get that feeling from him that, you know, he gets on with his job and he does his thing.
Well, from what I'm aware of with Hans Zimmer, is that, you know, he likes to get on with his director. He likes to understand all of the characters that are in the film, and he talks to the director
Apart
about
from
that.
Interstellar, because he was told nothing about the actual story of Interstellar.
Well, that was probably just so he could more focus on getting the. It was probably for two reasons. It's probably to stop any kind of risk whatsoever of, like, you know, the later sections of the film getting out there, but also maybe just so you can purely focus on getting the tone kind of thing right, as opposed to making music specifically for the characters.
I believe from what I've heard is the director said stuff to him like, and it was along the lines of write a song that you would write for your kid, and it was used in a totally different I don't want to say tone, but used for a different purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, even so, I think Hans Zimmer knew Christopher Nolan well enough at that point, so that he had a good established relationship with them, that he could experiment and sort of have a rough idea of what Christopher Nolan's kind of looking for in terms of a film. But even so, I mean, when he did his last bit of work with Warner Brothers, which was during with Batman v Superman, he wasn't the only composer in that film. He was working alongside Junkie XL, and the two of them got on smashingly.
Yeah.
He was praising Junkie XL non-stop during there's like a 45-minute interview thing you can watch of the two of them just talking about the music coming up that they came up with together. And Hans Zimmer was talking about how for certain characters and certain scenes he was really just struggling to come up with anything for them. He was talking about having like a wastebasket kind of thing that you just crumple up pieces of paper, pile them up and everything. And then Junkie just walks in and straight off the top of his head just comes up with something. And Zimmer's like, that's amazing, that's fantastic. And then they end up so he's really good at collaborating with people basically. And I can't imagine why he wouldn't want to work with Hans Zimmer anyway. Plus, on top of that, he did score Man of Steel.
He did.
And there is a connection between the Iron Giant and Superman.
Yeah.
So he's just, you get those little nods in towards the contrasting scores.
Yeah.
If you got him.
My God, if they could get a score with like the original Superman soundtrack in there.
Well,
sorry, not soundtrack. The original Superman theme, and something along those lines.
I think they could have like notes from it, just to sort of as that bit of a nod. So you could have notes from the original Superman theme, notes from Hans Zimmer's Man of Steel theme, because the two can sort of work together. And then obviously just the actual score that is meant for the Iron Giant specifically, like his hero music or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's our two main pitches as just a studio side where the director would have a lot of control. So you want to jump into talking about the most obvious casting first?
Vin Diesel, I'm sorry, you come back to play the Iron Giant.
You have no choice.
You have no choice. You did it so well that we can't think of anybody else to play the Iron Giant apart from you.
Oh, and you do have fairly recent experience doing the Iron Giant voice because Groot is just the voice for Groot is the Iron Giant's voice. It isn't even slightly different. It is the exact same voice. So
slightly different effects, but that's about it.
Slightly different effects on it, but really, if you just listen to Vin Diesel, kind of behind the scenes shot doing his Groot voice, it's the exact same as him doing his Iron Giant voice.
And from what we've seen on the internet, anyway, it seems like you want to do Iron Giant again, regardless. So, come on, Mister.
Guy's actually been hinting. It was a couple of years ago, but been hinting that we might be getting a sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be interesting.
Could be a red herring though.
Could be.
I don't know. I don't know you well enough, Vinny. Apart from the fact that
Maybe
he
he's
plays,
just
Indy.
heard stuff from, because obviously they'll be speaking to Warner Brothers about that kind of stuff. Maybe he's heard stuff along the lines that they're looking into doing something with Iron Giant. He's just assumed sequel,
Yeah.
whereas Warner Brothers is actually thinking live action remake of the film. So that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And so he's obviously then got experience already with voicing a CGI character. And he doesn't actually have to do the mocap. I mean, you've got Andy Serkis right now, who's currently, I think he's in the post-production phase of Jungle Book, which he's making for Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers already have Andy Serkis, essentially. I mean, granted, he's busy doing other projects at the same time. But he could either come in and help people do some mocap stuff, or come in and just mocap the Iron Giant himself.
Yeah.
So, you know, Andy Serkis doing mocap for the Giant and Vin Diesel voicing it.
A killer combination waiting to happen.
Yes. Very similar to our other impossible and could never happen killer combination that we came up with for like directors and stuff. Right. So I guess, do we start with Dean then?
Sure.
Okay.
Although, should we really start with Dean? He is a pivotal character, but he's not our main character.
He's not our main character, but I don't know how much we can really say about Hogarth's casting. Oh, where's he gone? Okay, well, we know who we're talking about nonetheless. There he is.
Yeah.
So basically, Hogarth, who is a young child. Not such a young child that he's like a baby.
No.
But you know, he's like he's older than
preteen.
He's round about his preteens. Yeah, he's somewhere like 14, 15 years old kind of thing. And to be honest with you, this is probably the one we had the most trouble with in terms of trying to find somebody for this, because as much as we tried to fight it, there is really only one option in terms of to cast here.
We did look for kid actors. It's just that we're not really aware of any new up and coming talent.
We actually had a proper look for kid actors, seeing who were coming up and who was coming up at the time, who've been in recent movies that haven't already just grown up into 20 or 30 year olds. So,
and we did think of Stranger Things before anybody suggested.
We're also sort of, as fan casting, we're not only trying to cast someone that's a good actor, but also trying to think of someone that visually kind of looks like the character.
Yeah.
And honestly, there is nobody better right now than Tom Holland to do the part. He looks like Hogarth to begin with. We literally have a picture up right now that is of somebody comparing Hogarth to Tom Holland. Hogarth and Dean to Tom Holland is Peter Parker and Robert Downey Jr. And on top of that, the second reason why he is the best, I mentioned The Impossible before, and anyone who has seen The Impossible knows that Tom Holland is in that film, and he's fantastic in that movie. So the guy already has good experience working with this particular director, and he's playing a 15-year-old in Spider-Man anyway, so he can pull that off as long as he doesn't like just age super quickly in the next couple of years, like what you were saying earlier. Then I think we should be good in terms of being able to cast him as the character. Fine then. Who do you want to go with next?
Hogarth's mom?
Hogarth's mom?
Why not?
Right, yes. That's easy stuff. Although I say easy stuff. There she is. Winona Ryder.
Yeah. Better known for shouting Will in Stranger Things.
That is very true, yes.
She's already played a mom character. We enjoy her on screen. Not to that extent. She plays a good mom, and she fits the facial profile. That's pretty much it.
I don't really know how much further you can go with that.
No, not really.
We've seen her plenty in Stranger Things. First of all, we know she's a good actress. We've seen her play the role of a mother, and not like a shitty mother either. She's a mother that specifically her whole plot line is caring about her child.
I believe she shouts the same as I forgot her name now, from Friends.
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah. I think she shouts the same too.
So I mean, So she kind of looks the part, and we know she can play the concerned mother. So we don't really have any problems with that one. It was quite a simple casting
Pretty
thing.
much.
It took us maybe like 10, 15 minutes before we figured out this was the perfect choice.
Did run through a couple of actors.
We ran through a couple of actresses, but ultimately we just whittled it down to this one.
Pretty much.
And that was it, simple. I think then the only obvious choice next is to talk about our casting that we have for Dean. Because we had a couple of several different like debates. We were trying to figure out who's the best actor for this. He's got to be someone that kind of has the cool look to him, but he can't be too old. He can't be too young. He's got to fit just the right age. I mean, we must have went through a dozen different actors for this. I mean,
maybe even a baker's dozen.
Majority of them were far too old for the part.
Yeah.
Which is a funny contrast, because when we actually had to search for an older actor, we were constantly looking at much younger actors, which is ridiculous. I think we were looking at the one person, which, I mean, I'm glad we never pitched, but I'm surprised no one said Tom Cruise in the conversation. But
or Robert Downey Jr. for that matter.
I think if Robert Downey Jr. was younger, he would be the perfect. He would have to be cast as Dean. It's the only choice. But Robert Downey Jr. has aged in the last 10 years, as people do.
Not in a bad way.
In the space of 10
years.
Still
look good, Robert.
No, but it's just what happens, you know. So ultimately, after going through every freaking male actor that's pulled off the relatively cool look, we whittled it down to Aidan Turner, who we know. My apologies, I'll put that down. And we all know from Being Human,
the UK version.
The UK version. If you haven't seen that, seriously check that shit out.
Yeah, it's got much better werewolf effects.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I've seen the American version, and no, it's not for me.
You guys just didn't pull it off. The Office is pretty cool, but it's like, just be careful of how you're treating the property, you know.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I was gonna say, because I actually know one of the actors from the American version of Being Human, Sam Witwer, who we know from like Starkiller and everything. He's a great actor.
Wait, which one did you play?
Starkiller.
No, from the Being Human.
I think he was the vampire. He was Aidan Turner's character. But he has my problem. Makes him... As much as I like him as an actor, this doesn't make me racist or anything, but the vampire and the werewolf dudes look almost exactly the same.
They do. Wait, how is that racist?
Because if you say somebody from a different country looks exactly the same as everyone else,
it's fine. They're white, we're white. We can't be racist to other white people.
Yeah, but we don't look like them.
But yeah, I do understand your point.
So I always got confused as to which one was which, because I was like, you're the werewolf guy. No, you're no. Okay, I give up. And it's just I couldn't watch it.
Dear Americans, werewolf people are skinny and tall, and vampire people are slightly shorter and slightly more well built.
All round.
Yes,
they can be round.
All round.
They eat a lot.
Or bald.
Of liquid. Oh yes, they can
or
be bald.
Really ugly.
Yeah. You can have a huge range in terms of your vampires, your vampirism, and all that stuff.
But for looks, werewolves are generally average looking. Unless you... Oh, no, I can't even say that because of Underworld. Damn it.
Yeah. Anywho, onto Aidan Turner. I think as much as I like this guy as an actor, I think you pushed him a bit heavier than I did. So you want to explain your reasoning?
Well, for those of you who are aware of the Being Human American version, he plays essentially the same character, but better. He pulls off the coolness. He's got the looks. He's very, very popular. I don't want to say that Being Human was his. I will say that Being Human was his leaping off point into stardom. He's played I forgot his name, but he's in The Hobbit.
He's a dwarf.
He's a dwarf.
Yeah,
He's the handsome dwarf.
sure.
He's one of the twins of he's related to Feely Keely, might be Feely, or damn it, Gandalf, Biffa Boffa Boffa. He's one of the dwarves.
He's one of the dwarves.
He's the really handsome one that ends up with an elf as a side chick. Actually, no, not
As a side chick.
No, he didn't get that far. He was in love with an elf.
Mm-hmm.
Legolas's sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
He can rock the sunglasses.
He can. He really can. Unfortunately, it looks like his trademark is curly hair, which, sorry, Aiden, you would actually have to have short hair.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, right? First of all, you can have relatively short hair and still have curly hair.
Yeah.
And the guy's an artiste.
Yes.
So, if just because the animated version of Dean has short, spiky hair, does not necessarily.
Spiky.
It's relatively spiky.
It's pretty flat. It's like
I mean, but it's like it sticks out a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like that sort of short spike look.
David Tennant. His hair from Doctor Who. Towards the end, not as spiky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Roundabout. Kind of.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe. Probably. Maybe not, though. Potentially.
Ooh,
either way.
Oh, no. I've thought of another potential Dean. This is on the fly. 11th Doctor.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Not the 11th. Is it 12th? What number are we currently on?
Concurrently, we are on the 12th.
Thinking of the 11th. I'm thinking of the 11th.
You're thinking of Matt Smith?
Yeah, Matt Smith.
No.
Oh. No?
No.
No?
No.
No?
No. 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 I like Matt Smith, but no.
Yeah.
No. I can't see him pulling off cool.
No? Really?
I mean, come on. Bow ties are cool,
Well, you won't be playing the Doctor.
Yeah, but that's how I see him now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's like that.
You've given them that stigma.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like to go into movies with no or little
I can still judge actors.
Right, okay.
I'm not saying that he played a bad part when he
No.
was the Doctor.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that's how I've stereotyped him now.
Yeah.
So basically, just as we've stereotyped Aidan Turner as playing the cool guy in things.
Sorry, but he's just cool. I'm sorry, Aiden. You're just cool.
It's just how it is.
Oh, no, I had another justification.
Right.
And I'll probably get corrected of this later if I'm wrong. But Dean's last name is Irish, and I believe Aidan Turner is also Irish. So that can't be a coincidence.
No, it can't be a coincidence.
But it is.
That we happen to cast that person. But it totally is.
Totally is.
Right. Who did now I will say for the general
small role,
but important role.
Indeed.
And we originally in this one had Colin Firth cast in this.
Yep.
Mostly because he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Problem being is during our little research segment that we did before the podcast, we were pretty much struggling, not to say that he hasn't done it, but we were struggling to really find him doing a proper full-on American accent.
Yeah.
He really plays very British characters.
He does.
And he's got a very hairy British accent.
Hairy British.
Hairy British accent. Yes. It's not, I wouldn't say it's fluffy.
Just all over the place.
Sure. Yeah.
Not saying that his acting's all over the place. It's generally pretty decent acting.
It's pretty spot on most of the time.
It is.
Yeah.
But he's too British.
But he's far too British for the role of the general. So what we ended up doing, and Christopher completely called us out for being morons for not figuring out sooner. After a couple of debates between about 4 different actors,
Yep.
we basically whittled it down to J.K. Simmons.
Yep.
He's already played an army role.
He has recently.
Or an army general role, actually, in the film Renegades.
Yep.
His like shouting voice sounds identical to the general from the Iron Giant. So
who aren't the same actors.
And I think if you basically just like, I don't know, not like actually fatten his face, but just widen his face a little bit further, he would visually look probably like the general as well.
Yeah.
Which once again, you don't actually have to look like the animated character, but just for that kind of believability.
I think you've got to give the impression of.
You've got to give the impression that you actually are this person. But he can definitely pull off that role, and everyone knows the guy can shout.
Yep.
So
Whiplash is a really good example. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's a very demanding person. I don't think you would really want to mess with J.K. Simmons, no matter how old he gets.
No. And on top of that, similar to as we were talking about with a couple of the other people before, the guy is currently working with Warner Brothers, so they've already got him. And could easily get him involved in another film altogether. Plus, the guy is used to. He doesn't always, but he does sometimes play the smaller roles, but still stands out in those smaller roles. So he's very good in that position. I don't really know what much more we can say to justify J.K. Simmons, to be honest with you. As if the guy needs justification in the first place.
He is a Hollywood legend already. I don't know if he's put his handprint on the Walk of Fame yet.
I'm not sure. I don't know if he has.
If he
must have done. He must have
If
done.
he hasn't, then he certainly deserves that.
And so I think in that case, we are really only left with one character, unless I'm forgetting anybody specific.
A rather pivotal character.
Pivotable.
I can't even say that. Never mind.
Kent
Mansley.
Kent Mansley.
The most manly name that has ever been created.
And yet he's ginger. Yeah.
I mean, we could always change it to like a really light brown.
Oh, I have to say, I've just remembered that's another scene that I kind of hope they have at least very similar to.
Is it the laxative scene?
Yeah. I love that.
There are laxatives in the children's movie. You don't get to hear anything, but it's pretty good.
But it's the ice cream stuff and everything.
Oh God, the amount of ice cream, Iron Giant ice cream pranks that will come out on YouTube if that happens.
Yeah.
Oh my.
But we actually haven't cast a ginger person to play the role of Kent.
Which is fine. You can do that.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know, he doesn't have to have the same hair color. But the guy we basically cast is Mr. Hugh Laurie for this role.
Yep.
The guy, it's insane how much range this guy has in terms of acting.
It is.
He can play the stupid but yet funny role, but he can also get down and really get serious, which is pretty much perfect for the Kent character.
Americans might know him better for playing the role of House.
Yes.
British, of course. I was going to say Monty Python. Blackadder, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hugh, I can't really think of much else you've been in apart from those two.
I think the very first film I was ever introduced to Hugh Laurie from was actually Stuart Little.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
He's the dad in Stuart Little.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks really different with glasses on.
I know. But, well, I mean, so did... that's one of the things I've always thought about Colin Firth. I was like, sometimes if you see him wearing glasses, I'm like, are you the actor I think you are?
Yeah,
He's got one of those faces. He's got the Superman effect where if he's wearing glasses, he has a completely different face to when he's not wearing glasses. And it's same, maybe could be said for the likes of Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
But I think the two biggest ones, I actually didn't know he was in Tomorrowland, which is funny because Tomorrowland was directed by Brad Bird,
Mm-hmm.
who directed The Iron Giant.
All right. Okay. Should we also mention that Brad Bird usually casts, whether this be coincidence or not, Star Wars actors?
Not Brad Bird.
Not Brad Bird. Oh, right.
J.A.Bayona,
J.A.Bayona.
the director
Right,
we've
I was
got
gonna
for
say.
our film. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah.
typically, I don't know if it's the case with the other one because I've not seen The Orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
But he does, at least in The Impossible,
Mm.
he's got Ian McGregor,
Mm-hmm.
and in A Monster Calls,
Mhm.
he has Liam Neeson,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the girl that plays Janice, Felicity Jones,
Mhm.
that's the name of the actress. So yeah, he's typically got some Star Wars actors in his films, which we never managed to get around to casting anyone. But that's just
Exactly.
because
We tried.
we did give it a good shot, but at the end of the day, we just came across other actors who were better for the role that didn't happen to have been in a Star Wars movie. So, but yeah, I think really Blackadder and stuff like House is possibly the two best to justify just how stupid the guy can be, but yet fun, and how serious the guy can be, which once again, as we've already said, is perfect for the character. I think we were looking at an image earlier of Hugh Laurie, or it might have just been an image from the actual Iron Giant film.
Yeah, it was.
The shot that we were looking at of Kent, he literally looked like Hugh Laurie, and you could picture Hugh Laurie in that exact scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of our casting, unless you've got any extra notes to add to that.
Not really.
No?
I think we've pretty much hit the nail spot on the head. Whether if in the case that our chosen director actually watches this, or any of the other actors, which is very unlikely, or even our music producer, if you want to do it, ask Warner Brothers, because we're not Warner Brothers. We're just pitching an idea out.
We'd like to believe that we are for the point of this show.
For perspective.
Yeah. But,
and we would certainly like to see it, and we would certainly like to hear for anybody who is an Iron Giant fan.
It'd be a great way to introduce people to the property that haven't seen it already.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it would get so many more people interested in it to begin with.
And Iron Giant does deserve to be a more popular movie.
It does. It shouldn't be a cult classic.
No.
It should just be a classic.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, like I said, if from the perspective of us being Warner Brothers director, if you are watching, you can have some debate with us in terms of the composer. Although we prefer that you go with Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
And but no, you're getting that cast. Warner Brothers, if you're watching, please make this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time overdue.
It has.
I mean, the voice of one of your main characters, the Iron Giant, who's currently got a really good streak of movies going on right now, wants to do it, and I think like the other actors who have also been Iron Giant would like to see another Iron Giant movie.
I think everybody wants to see another Iron Giant movie. Or at least,
everybody.
Yes, everybody. Literally everybody. Everybody.
7 billion people
all want to see Iron Giant. What the fuck are you doing? Why has it not been made?
See, all you have to do is just charge a pound or $1 for a ticket and make sure that everybody can see it. And that's 7 billion.
Right, but then if now you just give them more reason to charge like 10 quid or 15 quid for a ticket, because if 7 billion people go to see that movie, they're going to be making a shit ton.
I'm thinking of the perspective that everybody can go and everybody gives a bit of money, which they won't really care about.
Yeah. So give them even more reason to just freaking charge with 50 quid for a ticket.
That bit was muted because I made a really bad mistake, and I don't want to give the movie industry any reason to hike up prices for tickets.
To make money.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Well, if that's that done, I think that's us done.
Pretty much.
As it gets dark.
Oh my.
The Dementors are on the way. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's podcast. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Do us one very small, minute, insignificant favor.
Keep your hand away
you
from the
don't
belly
mind.
button.
While doing that, though, remember to press all the buttons.
Every button.
Every button.
Every single one.
All of them.
In your house, switch does count as a button.
Okay, that's good to know.
It's true.
Yeah.
Switch is a button.
All the buttons,
Every button.
except that one.
Yeah. It's the only one that's off limits.
Ta-ra.
Especially his.